What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 216 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hi, Tim.
You have a fun controller.
I do,
oh
yeah. We got
gosh.
I meant to bring it up in the pre-show, and then we never got to it. We got the C40 from Astro. We're going to unbox it over on Instagram after this.
Wow. And you can find him on twitch.tv/FM3_ the man, the myth, the hair, Fran Marabella.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Took 1 week
Been
off.
a while.
I'm
Feels like a
feeling
long
the
time.
energy.
It feels like a while. Yeah, the Avengers of us haven't assembled in a while.
Yeah, this is exciting.
And of course, Andrea Renee. You can find her on What's Good Games. You can find her on Twitter at Andrea Renee.
Thanks,
You're
Tim.
just all over the place. You're here. You're doing games daily. You're hanging out all day, and I'm so sorry for that. I always feel bad for you when you have to hang out with us all day.
Why? I like hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't get to see you guys as often as I'd like.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Like, she had a business call today, so she commandeered Kevin's office, and I was like, pro move.
I asked for permission.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to. Just take anything
Kevin's
you want.
office,
Gave
a.k.a.
a thumbs up.
the troll den.
Well, I feel bad because like there's really no sound insulation, so I was like, you guys probably can hear my entire phone call. Not that it was secret. We were just talking about some cool graphic stuff we're doing for What's Good.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like graphic stuff. Big fan.
Yeah.
Patreon supporters at the silver membership or above get to watch this show live as we record it. You can get the show 3 days early and get full exclusive access to the pre and post shows. Shout out to Patreon producers DJ Kento, James Davis, and James Hastings for making the show happen. A lot of James is going on. A lot of James. love. If you don't want to support us financially, that's totally fine. You can watch the show on Mondays on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or on roosterteeth.com, or you can listen to it on podcast services. Where, Greg?
Around.
The globe.
That's exactly
It's
how I
cool,
go.
Fran. Don't worry.
This episode is brought to you
setting you
by
up.
ExpressVPN and Zebit, but we'll talk about that later.
Fran, we're Division Bros for
Yeah,
life. Don't worry
exactly.
about it. We're yin and
Just
yang.
making
We
sure
tried
we're
to be
cool,
in
Agent.
Borderlands. We tried to be
Oh,
Borderlands
gosh.
Bros. We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, no, we're definitely talking about that. Do you want to start with this? Do you want to do
No,
something?
that's it. I just wanted to see. I forgot. I literally in the pre-show was like, after
It
this,
was,
we're going to unbox this. So go to
Instagram.
Instagram.com/GameOverGreg. You can watch me unbox that new controller with Andy Cortez, a.k.a. Nitro Rifle.
They let you do that even though you're not verified.
Yeah.
Wow. You're going to do me like that.
Damn,
You're
that
going to do
was
me like
messy.
that.
That was
Messy.
real
The
good.
amount of times I've saved your ass in the
I
streets of
knew.
DC.
It sucks because we just went. We
Right
went
the
from
back
the
of
fist bump to he's like, I'm out.
Didn't
That's
expect
it.
that
No
from you,
more.
Fran.
I'm
That's
messing.
a Nick Scarpino move I ever saw.
I want to talk about a real cool thing here. It's called the Switch Fix.
Right.
Made by a best friend given to us at the San Francisco meet
Really?
and greet a
Yeah.
while ago. Yeah. And it's now officially out. You can go just Google Switch Fix and you'll be able to find this thing.
Yeah, it's like an Indiegogo, I think, right?
And what is really
I
cool
thought it
about
was
it,
a new IGN show coming to you every day.
Is that really what they call it?
No, I'm just kidding.
but it's one of those things that I'm like, I already have a lot of Switch accessories.
You do.
I don't know if this is going to make the cut, the Tim Gettys travel cut, as
Right.
I like to call it.
Sure.
Because I have my little stand.
You got that
going
stand
on.
you like a lot,
I
yeah.
really like it. Really like
TGTC.
it. It's awesome. You put it there on the little airplane tray that comes down.
Yeah.
You put it on. You got a good time playing Switch with a Pro controller.
Yeah.
Looks like a slingshot. You sure that's going to
does.
get
Watch
by
it, watch
TSA?
it.
So like the story about this is great. Look at Tim trying to grab it wildly. So yeah, we were doing the San Francisco meet and greet. This best friend came through with the Switch Fix and he gave them all to us. They all have our branded names on them, right? So Game Over Greggy. I think you're using
Aw,
Jared's.
dang.
I'm currently using Jared's because
Give it to
mine
me.
is custom made.
What's
and
that-
the
but it says
entire
Jared
thing
Petty.
is this color blue.
Where's mine?
Got it?
You know,
Jared Petty's?
you know.
Yes?
Yeah.
He knows.
Doesn't work with the Stadia
Wow, you made
controller.
one for
He's
Jared
not going to
Petty,
want
but
it.
The
not for
best
me?
friend knows you can't play Paragon on the Switch. So I didn't do it
Wow.
for you.
I've been playing Diablo on my Switch. I played it on the whole flight yesterday when I wasn't playing Yoshi.
But this is the thing. He brought it. He brought it to the meet and greet, gave us all to him, and showed us how it works. And if you're an
here's
audio
how it
listener,
works.
it
It's
attaches to the
adjustable.
Pro controller.
And it's fantastic. So there you go. You get the Pro controller. You get the thing. You don't need the weird
what?
Switch grips or anything.
This is very
Is
ingenious.
it? Can I hold it?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I want it. Me too.
Have you been using
Give
it a lot?
Daddy a
So
taste.
last night I
Oh,
played.
okay. So I was worried that maybe it would be too close. My
That's
hands
what I'm
would
worried
bump
well, you
about
can
it.
adjust it too.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but then like you're tilting the screen away.
Yeah, but then you can like
I see
you
what
can
you-
move the.
Oh,
there's a lot of movement
okay.
options
Lay it on me.
that
What
you
do you
got.
Give me your
with
review.
this.
You give me your initial impressions. No review.
I'd
Don't
like
put review at the
to.
top.
I'd like to move it up just a
Yeah,
tiny bit more.
I've learned from
but I
that.
do have very small hands, so this works out well.
Yeah.
Small
Because like
hands,
this guy can rotate
like a
too,
Connie.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, this is.
I
This
have
is
decent
pretty
hands.
cool. This is
When he
pretty
came,
cool.
when he came through and he's like, I want to give you something, and it was like, I made this thing for your Switch. I'm like, and then
I'm
he gave me,
definitely stealing Jared's unless you all make me one.
he handed me the one, and then he gave me the prototype. He gave me mine, and then he gave me the prototype with it actually attached. And I was like, damn, this is actually awesome.
Well, here's the thing. It's heavy,
what I would
but that's the Switch is heavy.
But does
Like,
it
that's
wear
the
down?
problem.
Does it wear? I haven't used it to play. Mine's still boxed up. We're going to New York tomorrow. I'm playing Katana Zero the entire way.
Yeah.
Does it?
Playing this in bed would be
Exactly. That's the thing. Like,
I would
how does
drop it on
feel?
my face. Too heavy.
That's
Yeah,
not a problem
yeah,
with the Switch
seriously.
there. But I played for like 2.5 hours last night with this thing, just
Yeah.
exclusively with this, playing some Smash, getting my spirit update. Last time I talked to
we
you
go.
guys,
Here we go.
I had like 150 left, down to 15.
By the way,
Wow, look at you.
I think New York's
Makes
gonna do it for me.
a great hand mirror too.
Oh,
Yeah,
Look at that.
there's a lot of
You can
options
shave
here.
with this thing. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Dollar Shave
beautiful.
Club.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. No,
Switch face.
honestly, it's great. And what I realized is playing like this can get a little heavier, but when you when you adjust it so that the screen is more on top of the controller,
Sure.
it's a
You can
lot.
balance it
Centers
out
the
a
weight.
little.
Yeah, it centers the weight in a way where you're just like, all right, this is a lot more comfortable, and it's not that bad to hold. This is making my list. I'm not going to bring it on every trip, but depending on the game that I'm playing, I might bring this instead of the stand.
You gonna bring it to
So it's a me.
Sweet.
I don't know yet because Smash Bros. I feel like still is better
Ah,
having the
Wait,
full.
I need to
best
see this
friend
stand
invented
too.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's available for sale.
It is.
What's the name again of the person?
Switch Fix.
No, the person who did. You remember?
I lost the.
Okay, don't worry about it
You
for
only
now.
put the notes on the thing. didn't you?
Whoever you
we're
are
pointing
out,
out, of course, just for full disclosure, not sponsored.
No,
not
no,
an
no.
ad thing. He
This
just
is a
gave-
cool thing that
he
I
gave it to us,
legitimately
and we
like.
think it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is very cool, and I've been using it and loving it.
So what I'd love to see is if we can sell enough of these.
Yeah, what do they sell them for? Do you know?
You know what? I don't know.
But
a lot
can
of
we get it
questions.
to be what is it? Would it be like an electronic gyro on top that would adjust to like that would like eventually? It's very high end, obviously, but
So you
wouldn't
want
that be cool?
you're Shark Tanking this already.
Because
Oh,
this
yeah.
is
How
like
can I make
clearly
it better
like
next?
3D
Build a better
printed,
mousetrap.
No, but
right?
this is amazing.
So you
If-
want like a ball bearing piece that has like a gyroscope in it.
Maybe it could
Here
even
we go. I
maybe
got
not be
information.
electronic, but you know what I mean?
Austin?
Austin.
Austin Stark. You can go to it's on Indiegogo right now.
You can
This
go to,
is really
you can
cool.
go to getswitchfix.com to check it out. And yeah, it's on Indiegogo.
Works great.
Austin, I appreciate your product. Still
Yeah.
very sad that you didn't make one for me.
Oh yeah, and the thing worthwhile, other than the fact of mentioning otherwhile that they didn't give one to Andrea, is that you can take it off and use it like the stand that you have on your.
Oh,
like
you
how
can
play
just
it.
use
Like,
it
there's
as
the
a
image, right,
stand.
where it's like you can just
oh
put it
yeah,
down
you
that
can
way.
just stand it
Yeah,
on say your table tray on the plane.
Take
Yeah,
the
exactly,
controller
exactly.
off?
Yeah.
Yeah, you take it off the controller and then you can.
It's like a
There we
Goosebumps
go.
novel. You can't come off now
Yeah. So.
if you balance it correctly, obviously. There you
Yeah,
go.
wait, actually, wow.
Okay.
So maybe I will take this
That's
instead
dope.
of mine.
Because
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a stand that is nice, but it
that
seems
is
like
dope.
it's more work.
That's
That's
Or not
awesome.
more work, but I mean it's another thing to carry. Or whatever. This gives you two options, I guess.
Yeah. No, this thing's really cool.
So like if you have your snacks on your tray in the airplane
Yeah.
and you want on the controller to hold it, or maybe you're done with your snacks, you pop it off,
Pop it off.
put it on the tray.
Tabletop it up.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
That's
Check it out.
nifty.
Again, real talk, loving this thing, and it's now going to be part of my
Made by a
normal
best
thing?
friend.
Austin. Shout out to Austin.
If
And now,
you
Greg,
call
last week you couldn't talk about any of this stuff, but you went out, you played a whole bunch of PlayStation VR titles.
That's correct, Tim. How
State of
are
play.
you? State of play. So we did state of play last week. They showed a bunch of PlayStation VR titles. I of course, was like, that's awesome. I love PlayStation VR titles. This is a great thing. Some people on the internet was like, this is a terrible thing. Everybody sucks. I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. And then the next day they did a PlayStation VR event here in San Francisco. So I got to go play it. And then I had to text you things because I immediately left. Just flew away, as I am prone to do. Now the embargo's up. We can talk about it. I think I tweeted about this. So if you saw the tweets, it'll be a little bit recap. It'll be way more in depth and you guys can ask questions, which is great. Because nobody else played any of them, right? You were already gone.
No,
You were going to PAX East already. Yeah. I was floored by two games there. Do you want me to start with the two flooring ones or give you updates on other ones?
I want to hear about Iron Man, Greg.
Iron Man VR is the fucking shit. And I can't, it's not that I can't believe I'm saying it, but it was, we're watching the showcase. It's Iron Man VR. Holy shit, this is awesome. And then they kept cutting to the cutscene and then coming back to the gameplay and cut back to the cutscene and kept saying, not actual gameplay, not actual
Yeah.
gameplay. Then they cut to the gameplay and we're watching the gameplay and you're like, is it just an arcade game? Am I just flying around shooting? Am I on rails? Like, what is the actual way the game works, right? The thing we left with it was, I rewatched it. It was from Camouflage, so we already knew Ryan Payton, obviously friend of the show. He's been on stuff before. He'd come through and done Up at Noon. He'd done Republic. He'd worked way back in the day on Peace Walker with Kojima and stuff. So when Camouflage popped up, you're like, what? This is I did not expect this, and here we go, and we're into it, and then we're out of it. And
Was
there
he in
no
343 for a while too? I think.
I'm unfamiliar with that. Possibly. I mean, it would make sense because he's Seattle-based.
Think
So.
so.
Yeah, he probably did get around up there. However, though, to get there, I thought the most important things was they handed you the Move controllers, and they're like, all right, you're going to get the tutorial in game. But real quick, how does Iron Man fly? And I watched other people, and I watched them do it to me, but you're like this? They're like, all right, cool, you get how to fly. How does Iron Man shoot? And you're like this? Like, all right, you get it. And they hand you the Move ones, they put the thing on.
Really?
And you put the headset on, right, and it loads in. And the first thing that happens is it's all black, right? And it goes, and you hear it start powering up, and you see all like the blue outline go through of the Iron Man thing, and then you see your breath / Tony's breath on the inside of the screen, and I was like, this is fucking cool.
That's really cool.
And then it boots up and it comes on, and you're in there, and it's Friday, and you're ready to go play or whatever, and there was I did a training session, which then led, then there was a different section of jumping in, which was the cutscene that we had already seen of like the plane getting blown up or whatever, and then you flying around and doing all that stuff. Training session is right outside. This is its own universe. It's not, MCU or anything, but it's right outside the Tony Stark house in Malibu. You know what I mean? So you're flying outside of that thing there, and it was like, cool, let's teach you how to fly. And it's not on rails. It is completely, you move around at your own thing. So it is throw up your hands like this, shoot back, throw it back like this.
How do you change direction though? Is it moving your head?
No, you move in the sticks or whatever. Oh, yeah, it's like you're talking about how to like rotate.
Yeah.
I believe it's on your head circling is going to be on. That's a great question, actually. I'm not prepared to say.
Do
that.
they have like a click option?
I think that's what happened. Oh wait, you mean click option for your head movement?
Yeah.
I want to say right now it was based on you were circle and
sticks.
X buttons that you were moving on your 3/4 views. But I wasn't using them for the most part because it was angling myself, shooting myself, doing because it was. I'm throwing down my hands and I'm going up that way. I'm stopping. I'm doing this. I want to go that way. You can double tap to go faster, of course, to get like a big boost and go. But it was, shooting through and doing. Oh man, you asked a great question. I wish I remembered that. I was so caught up in the moment. I don't remember how.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if it felt right.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the thing.
Is like if you
it's
were
the whole thing. The biggest. So like you run through and you're doing it and you're flying and it's like, all right, cool. Now shoot stuff and you're learning how to shoot right. I want to look at my notes real quick because it was the move button was shooting and then hold and shooting. No, you move. You hit the move button. Move buttons and triggers is all you're doing, one or the other.
Okay.
And you're going through and doing it, right? And yeah, it all felt natural. It all felt simple to get to. And it also, I think, mimicked that first flight of Iron Man in Iron Man, right? Where I'm going through and I'm shooting and I feel, just as I start getting control and I'm learning how to fly and I'm learning how to angle myself and get to where I need to be, it was like, okay, cool, Pepper is back in the house and she wants you to come over. So it's okay, cool. So I went back and then it was like trying to make that precision landing in like the giant circle, but try to land there. And it was totally like Iron Man 1 where I like overshot it and then I'm like doing the minor corrections and coming back and just trying to get it fine to like cut the jets and fall right down there. But it felt awesome and it looked great. Like that was the thing is like, VR is such a, you need to wear it, you need to do it, you need to understand it that way, that I felt watching it did us a disservice in a lot of ways where I was like, are the graphics good or not good? They're great. They're on your face. They are great. It felt awesome. It looked good. I wasn't sitting there being like, this looks like crap. You know what I mean? I'm not happy with this information. Jumping into the plane then, again, it's the sequence we saw, but obviously way extended, right? Of you're sitting there and Tony's got the suit, the crate in front of him with the suit in there. Friday, you're talking to Friday. Pepper comes in. It's another thing where Tony just made her, CEO or whatever out of the blue. So she comes in all fired up, and Friday's real funny about trying to, should I stay or go? And then she finally leaves and stuff like that. My educated ear tells me it's Jennifer Hale as Pepper Potts. Not sure who Tony is, but it's not like Nolan or any of the usual suspects you'd expect. He's sitting there. He's talking. Dialogue's great. Everything's really, really funny. And then, it's just what we saw, right? The screens get taken over by a new villain. The side of the plane blows up. You jump out and you start getting piece by piece your suit, and then you're all set to go be Iron Man. And it was, fly around. These things are coming in. Figure out how to address them, shoot them, go to the plane. You get to the plane, you have to like ice it. So you're icing. Suddenly you've got like a new weapon there or whatever. That's just your thruster. But since you're not engaged, but the entire time I was into it, the entire time it felt natural. Like there's a learning curve to it, obviously, learning how to actually fly and be Iron Man and stuff. But I was so stoked when I finished it. I took it off and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I got to talk to Ryan for a while. And it's, they're not trying to make an arcade shooter. They're not trying to make something that is disposable and small. Like they're like, this is going to be a meaty single player game. Like we're telling you a narrative. There is a story here.
It's shocking, man. It really is. Because when State of Play opened, it was like, oh my God, it's Avengers. Like they're fucking showing Avengers. And then it pretty quickly became clear it's not. And then seeing it, you're like, okay, Iron Man VR. All my excitement's kind of gone because it's like this just does seem like a gimmicky like arcade shooter VR game like we've seen so many times before. But then you're saying this, it's like the idea that they're trying to make a meaty single player game in VR
that is surprising
with Iron Man.
Why is that
from
surprising?
Because to Tim's, we just don't see that as often with VR. I would say, how often have we seen that depth? It is normally the arcade,
and especially when you add
it's just hedging a bet.
Like superhero stuff, it just feels like it's going to be fairly gimmicky. Like we saw the Batman thing, right? Like
exactly,
that was definitely one of the showcase titles for PlayStation VR, but it's not a meaty experience. You know, it's like that. Like, how is this different than Batman VR?
I mean, there's a narrative here that doesn't feel, and this is based on demo, cutscene, and a little bit of gameplay that doesn't feel disjointed, right? Batman very much didn't make it. Made me feel like I'm using Batman's tools or throwing batarangs. That's cool, but then it was like the point-to-point movement, right, of like teleporting to it into like specific spots and rewinding stuff. Made me feel like I was not a participant in what was happening. I was just observing, right? Which isn't how Batman feels. Whereas this feels like I'm actually playing Iron Man. I'm being Iron Man in this.
We're so much deeper into the life cycle of the PlayStation VR and really VR devices at large in general. And I think that the expectation, at least for me, is that at this point, you can't come to the VR platform knowing how small it is and how dedicated those people are with like a mediocre or even like a kind of lackluster experience and expect it to sell. Like the people who are still in the VR space want something really amazing because we're seeing really great things come from smaller developers, whether it be someone like Ready at Dawn or like Insomniac. And after the incredible high that Marvel Games is on after Spider-Man PS4, I mean, it would be really silly or asinine of them to bring an experience that was nothing short of really fantastic.
That's true, but the last time we saw the Marvel VR stuff, it was exactly what we are talking about, right?
Right, the Oculus thing.
Yeah, it's just like, it is a total...
What was that, like 2.5 years ago?
Fine experience of you
2 years ago,
being the superheroes.
I think the bigger thing is that I think people, myself included, and I think because we've just not been burned by PlayStation VR or Marvel games or yada, 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 we're still just so used to VR not being. I think the majority of stuff coming out still
keeping your
isn't
expectations low.
Full blown. Here's a real game, right? Because even Moss, I fucking loved, but I could have gone for more of Moss at launch. You know what I mean? I think last year was a big breakout year for them with Beats, and this is VR in general, with Beat Saber, with Moss to an extent, with Astrobot. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh hey, we're getting high quality long form gaming, right? And like, granted, this is going to be 30 hours. I'm not saying it's that meaty, but I mean, they're talking
it can't
like
be.
Getting,
you can't spend that much time in the headset.
Exactly. They're talking about, getting deeper and closer to double digit hours with it. I don't think they are. And I'm talking replay if you wanted to go back and try to hit that, but I think they were talking like, 6-ish. Like, I mean, that's also, they're still making
amazing.
This game. They're not
like,
sure what's going on.
3 to me would be satisfying. Like, give me like a movie length experience, long movie length experience as Iron Man. Like, that sounds awesome with the compelling story.
And that's the thing,
with great voice acting and stuff. Just don't make it feel like a cash in title with superheroes, which we've seen even in this new era of superhero games and Marvel games and stuff. It's like we still get things like that. So
and so it's trigger to shoot, the move button to fly, to move.
It's great to see that they are, and I know we're talking about more of those titles. They seem to be investing in trying to get people to not have this perception. And frankly, I'm more on Tim's side. I'm just not used to, like with No Man's Sky now. I'm like, that didn't really exist before as sort of a standard, but I feel like we're finally getting there to have full experiences that, you can just hop in the VR.
Yeah.
So I don't own one yet.
The next
I don't have the
title?
space, but
The other one was Concrete Genie. I did play No Man's Sky Beyond though. No Man's Sky Beyond, I mean, the thing about it, right, is that it's No Man's Sky in VR, which is awesome. This is the one that I still felt was great, amazing. I'm definitely gonna jump in when I get it back. I've been thinking about going back to No Man's Sky for a long time, but like actually getting able to go in there and play with it was a completely different thing. And it was that I feel like the reason it's not on the short list of like it blew my socks off is that it's No Man's Sky in VR, right? Which is great. It was just like I still felt there was a few interaction things of like going over to like the signpost I needed to, and like it wasn't like, whereas Iron Man, I'm like, oh, I don't even remember how I think it was circled to rotate a little bit or whatever, but it's like it felt so natural that you don't even think about it, right? Whereas No Man's Sky, there was like, oh, I jumped over, oh, I'm too close, I'm gonna back up, okay, I think I'm in the right, okay, well, hold this, okay, there's like
could be a learning curve though, right? Maybe
1,000%, like because No Man's Sky Beyond, incredibly impressive. Like, I mean, it was. I'm walking around in No Man's Sky. There is a free roam, but I was using the teleport for the demo. That's just how they had it set up. And so it was jumping over there, and then like, there's like just the basic No Man's Sky HUD up. So when it was, all right, well, now you want to shoot this, or you want to use, your mining tool here or whatever, you bring up your hand and move it like this, and then you get like a little holographic display that you then choose the weapon you want right off your wrist. If you're an audio listener, you rotate, look at your wrist, you get to see it, and you select the next thing and go and do it. So it was, okay, cool, I'm teleporting around, I can go anywhere I want, I'm shooting over there, that's cool. I'm mining this thing, oh, there's this gun now that, that lets me terraform so I can write my name in the world, and I thought I was trying to write it on the ground like an idiot, and turns out, no, it's like building it up into the air so you can actually create that into the environment.
You wrote your name. That's the first thought you had to do.
Nope, that's what they said. What they said. They were like, how about you try writing your name? We're aware everybody else is going to try to draw a dick. And I was like, okay. And then I ended up looking at a dick anyway because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I tried to make it into a tree to make it look better. And Sean Murray's like, just stop. I'm like, all right, I'll go away. And so,
Just stop, Greg.
but then it was like, okay, let's go. There's a cool cave system over here. I went into the cool cave system, and then it was like, all right, cool. You can go back, or you can try to dig your way out. And so I was, using, just in VR, looking around, shooting, blasting out, making my little staircase to crawl out of this thing, get out. And then you got out there, and then that was when, of course, you have one of those moments where he's like, all right, cool, here's how you call in your ship. And I was like, oh, right. Spaceship comes down. I get in the spaceship. It's all fucking right there, and then I'm fucking into the air in first person in VR flying the spaceship. And there's the handle over here to throw down your thruster, or over here, control your speed with up down over here, and then a joystick over here to fly. And that was like, oh fuck, like this is awesome. Like it was like cool.
But then, hold on, there was a joystick.
In the like yeah, so you're in your cockpit.
Virtual.
You're in
Gotcha.
your cockpit, and you have this thruster over here, up and down to like pull back or push out speed.
Cool.
And then over here, yeah, you're like flight joystick that you grab and you're shooting a barrel rolling in.
The footage like Paula's gonna record of me doing all this looks so dumb.
But that was the thing. Is,
Again, do a great job,
God.
I shot up to the space station like I did when we played a ton of No Man's Sky at the launch and talked to the guys, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like I can totally see why this is going to be a huge deal for a lot of people, especially that's just a free update for No Man's Sky. It's just ready to go.
That's cool.
Yeah. Concrete Genie though was the one that. So it was Iron Man caught me off guard and Concrete Genie. Concrete Genie, Cool Greg's game of the millennia.
Yep.
He's been excited for it since he saw it. We've all looked at it and been like, it's pretty. I'm not really sure what's going on with it.
Not a PSVR exclusive title, right? It
Correct.
Is, it is a
We've
PlayStation
known
4
about
game.
Concrete Genie forever in the story mode of the kid and getting bullied, and he draws the genies on the wall or whatever. Pixel Opus, the developer, just a little bit south of us. Great people. This was the first time after they announced the PlayStation VR mode at State of Play that then we got to use it. And yeah, I wasn't sure what to get. And you put it on, and it's its own standalone mode that basically there's going to be the free draw, do whatever you want in it. This is the mode of it, of like, here's the story, introducing you to the PlayStation VR and how it all works and stuff like that. Mine took about 45 minutes. It can take longer, it can take less, it's however you want to go and do it. As you play through the game in the story mode, you're going to unlock new brushes, different things that you can use in regular free draw, let alone also on PlayStation VR V-Draw.
Wait, sorry, a little confused. The VR mode is different than the normal game itself?
Correct.
And then that the VR is only 45 minutes.
The thing I did, yes. Like that's what it took me 45 minutes. It can take you longer.
Do you think that like in the final game is going to be more?
Well, no, I don't think so, because what the main I think draw is you do it, you learn it, and then you just want to go in there and use the free play mechanic
Got it,
to do
okay.
whatever you want. Because
So the story then is just non-VR.
100%.
Cool.
Yeah, the story is its own thing, longer than 45 minutes for sure, like going on doing your thing or whatever.
Got it.
This though is like just this is how much we've given you to give you training wheels to let you learn the mechanics and teach you the things, so then you go out and you make whatever you want to make. This is the one I tweeted about, and I said that I almost cried at the end, and at the end I walked. It felt like I had done meditation, where I took it off and I felt like 1,000 pounds lighter. Like I was just happy, not like smiley happy, but like lighter, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like the way meditation, I guess, does it for people. But for this, it was you put it on and you start the game, and you're in this like just basically brick room with bricks in front of you, and your genie pops up, or there's lights all along the way. Right, they're out. The genie pops up and like give you hints as to what they want to see in there. So you like, oh, you want like grass and you want a tree. So you put the grass in, you put the tree in. You're picking it from your style book, like your tag book is cool.
Black
Greg would have.
book.
Black book. My apologies. You're doing that and putting them in. You're putting them in how you want. You're holding it longer to make more grass, less grass. You're scaling it. You're doing it. You're putting trees in, and you're controlling which way the branches go. They're all, these beautiful neon greens and pinks and oranges and hues. As you do it and start filling in the walls, the lights above them, kind of like Stranger Things, but not in a creepy way, start lighting up, showing like, okay, cool, you've done enough on this area of the wall if you want to stop, but you don't have to do more. This is what you're doing to, appease the genie kind of thing. You go through and
Rule
do
number
it though.
3.
All the lights are lit up, and then it comes the next thing of what they want. The next thing. Eventually, it opens up after it gets you out of the brick wall room into just an open world. So you're just like there with like this giant panoramic in front of you. It looks like you're on some foreign planet. And it's another thing of your genie's hopping around asking you for certain things, like, and so you do what it wants, and then that opens up a new thing it wants in the book and opens up new tools for you. So it's just really teaching these mechanics and how they all work. But it was so crazy and so relaxing to be in there just building this world for this little genie, which is like the imp or whatever from Dreams, putting it in there. And I'm ready to move on, but I'm not happy with this piece of art I'm making, right? Because you're freely placing the trees and freely connecting the strings of lights, and you can, my favorite thing was when you'd switch it to night and you could put stars in the sky, and then you could put the northern lights in, and I was like writing my name in the northern lights and stuff like that, because I'm obsessed with my name apparently on this demo. But putting all this different stuff in there to really make these beautiful scenes from nothing that weren't there 10 seconds ago, right? And to go in there and see how you just with the chill music, the simple instructions from this that are just images, right? Like it's hungry, it wants an apple, so you put the apples down or put the tree down and connect it all together. It was just so relaxing, and to the point of where I could totally see, I know you're like, 45 minutes for this VR experience. I could totally see replaying it when I just want to fucking chill for a second and make whatever. I could also, I'm very, very, very interested in what it'll be like when, it's free play. Like do whatever you want, where you can put down the stuff I was using, the trees, this thing, or go in and actually like make your own art the way you want to. Like I'm sure Cool Greg will want to.
Did you get to play the just core game at all, or just VR?
No, this was just VR. Everything there was just VR, so there was no chance to jump into that. But hasn't Cool Greg played it?
Cool Greg played it at E3 last year
yeah,
without VR.
Yeah,
he really loved it.
What do you think free play is?
Just like a drawing mode, sounds like.
But in other words, there's just a bunch of these types of objective and hints around.
I think free play is just going to be, and I'm speaking out of turn here probably, and I'm probably previews from somebody else would have it, but I would imagine it's going to be more of the brick wall set. It's probably going to be choose where you want to be. Hey, you have all these different environments. Where do you want to be? Do you just want to be a brick wall, and do you want to do it? Do you want blank page? Do you just want to do it? Do you want to go into the free world and put down trees and try to do that with the Genie?
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was wondering if it was as objective based of like.
I don't think, no. I think free play is going to
literally just drawing.
Yeah. Would you roll your eyes
Like,
at
how
it?
do you-
I think
No,
that's what
it's
people
more
want.
like, how do
I
you-
was more, when I first started playing it, I was more turned off that it wasn't just drawing. Because I thought it was going to be like, cool, here's a million different spray cans and a million different whatever and stencils and whatever. And so when I got in there and it was like, no, make a tree and grass. I'm like, oh, that's kind of stupid. And you got going like, oh.
I was wondering what is the effect of that when the lights go on? Does that exist in free play? That you've done a great job, and how does it?
I think free play is the reward for
Going through all
doing the
that,
objectives.
you just go around and
doing
draw
that
stuff and chill, but
Yeah.
it's the music and the
Sure,
vibrant world that it might be the appeal of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's hard without having
Of
done
course,
it to
I
imagine.
know, right? I'm just talking about weird stuff.
Yeah, because I like the sound of like, hey, it's kind of puzzle based in some ways, right? But it's like do this thing, and as you sort of create, seemingly you get this reward effect of the lights going on. And I was like, free play, if that doesn't exist, what do? You just go around and draw.
So
stuff,
it says, according to the article by
Game Revolution.
Robert Everett on Game Revolution, the second mode is called Free Paint mode, and it's a way to pop into the game and simply put your proverbial paint to canvas. Players will be able to select from one of 4 unique locations in the city of Denska to experiment with all of the living paint and Genie brushes that they collect throughout their adventure. It isn't entirely clear if access to these brushes will be granted from the get-go or if they will need to be acquired in the campaign first.
Him and I should have assembled. We would have had one thing. You have to acquire them in the campaign.
Okay.
That's what they were talking about. It's like when you come back, there'll be more to do. The more you play in the single player, the more the stuff
Oh,
unlocks.
I see.
You.
That's
Yeah.
interesting to keep you kind of going back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah. To give you the unlock tool set.
And then the last VR game,
research,
Greg.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, no
Everybody's golf.
Everybody's Golf VR. We all love Everybody's Golf, so they had Everybody's Golf VR there, and I was like, let's do it. And I was like, oh man, this is a great reminder how terrible I am at golf. This is why I don't do the real golf, and I just play Everybody's Golf.
So you're like full body swinging?
I was cheating a bit as you cheesed
Like
it with the
Wii golf
Wiimote.
style?
Yeah, just like that, where I was like, yeah, just flicking my wrist, because I was doing the whole thing and then like hitting the ground and not doing it. And it was like, it's totally, if you want to play that kind of golf, if you want to do that kind of thing, it's going to be fun. It's going to be.
So it's not everybody's golf.
No, it's Everybody's Golf, because even though when I stopped doing it, I started cheesing it a bit. I was doing better, and I was driving and getting it on the green or whatever. But I did like 2 holes, and it was like, cool. That was a lot to take in. I'll run a tutorial, I'm sure, when it comes out for full thing. But otherwise, like,
So
I'm
it
fine.
feels more in the it feels like you got to be very realistic with the amount of
It wants
momentum.
you to, but I didn't get that feeling now
Hard-
because I was doing
okay.
like this. You know what I mean? Where I was like not coming. I wasn't doing a full swing and going through. I was like coming back, swinging it out, and going.
But in other words, do you get the sense that the momentum at that last moment and the contact with the ball feels real, or is it pretty forgiving? And
it felt like an arcade
okay
VR golf
So you
game.
kind of just have to find that sweet spot.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Everybody's Golf is not a golf simulation
100%,
game.
100%.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I haven't played it in a while. I don't think, but like I remember, you still swing the stick pretty full, or is it?
Of course, but I mean, like when I say golf
it's not-
there's a
simulation,
button
like
tap.
there's like
Button
a
tap.
there's a
Oh,
big
Oh,
difference.
that's right. It was
Yeah,
like
right,
ding,
that's
ding,
it.
ding.
Yeah.
I think I was just thinking of that full meter, and if you get that sense in VR, but it sounds like maybe not.
You're thinking about like PGA golf.
For sure. Well, I've always loved those. I was a huge
Yeah.
Tiger Woods fan and all
Tiger
that. But I've
Woods,
played
yeah.
Everybody's Golf. It's just been a while now. So,
Then
anyway,
Greg,
I liked golf games.
so that was it for VR.
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something.
No.
Were there
Well,
other games
Blood and
there?
Truth was there, but I literally, as you know, I've been talking about Blood and Truth literally since the first time I played it. So I watched somebody's demo and I was like, I'm already sold in this game. It's got a May release date. I don't want to bore the audience with talking about more of that. They had that Five Nights at Freddy's game there. Watched somebody play it, and I was just like, it's not that I'm scared. I was just like, yep, that's what you'd expect it to be, a game that goes and scares you. You know what I mean? Get out of here.
I think you would like
Falcon
that
Age
game.
was there, but again, I just talked about Falcon Age recently, which I think's great. Can't wait for that game to come out. So yeah, it was some usual suspects in the new stuff. What do you got?
What's the rough release period of these games?
April to end of May.
So it's the next few months.
Which ones?
Iron Man.
Man's
except for
unannounced or whatever.
Yeah, and
Iron Man,
Concrete Genie is later in the year.
That's what I was
Concrete
right.
Genie, yeah.
But everybody's
golf's May.
is
But
soonish.
a lot of what they showed in State of Play is out very soon.
And Beyond is also, that's not already available, is it?
Beyond?
Sorry,
No Man's Sky Beyond is
No Man's
summer.
Sky.
Summer.
Summer. Okay, so summer spread out a little farther. Some stuff's coming soon. Okay.
So next thing I have here, Greg, is Division 2 Obsession and the lengths I'll go to play it.
Thank you very much. Kevin, do me a favor. This is going to drive me crazy. Will you Google the IGN or whoever Iron Man thing and find out how you look around? Like, is it a
still
button
thinking
thing?
about it.
Yeah, well, it's just driving me
Driving
crazy.
you nuts.
I hate
You're like,
that.
how did I look
hate
around?
that that's like your first question. I'm like, no, I don't know, because it
Didn't
didn't
occur.
even
Well, it
resonate
was
with me that that's
intuitive.
important. Yeah, exactly.
In the meantime.
Yeah, Division 2 and the ongoing obsession with it.
And the airports you play in.
That would be the number one, right? I packed this thing and I took it to Chicago. Played there a bunch, right?
Chi-Town.
Chi-Town's got it going on. Took it over to Poe's house, played with him. You know, it was like it was a throwback. I was like, I'm waiting till Mom's goes to bed, Poe, then I'll head over over there. And, you know, he plays on his TV, I'm playing on his other TV. We're just having a great time. And then, drag it with me all the way out to LA yesterday for like a very, very short trip.
Yeah.
Tried to convince Scott Lowe to go home and play it with me. And he's like, well, why don't we just go to a bar and eat? I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. But then
We'll socialize.
yesterday I pushed the flight up because I wrapped the shoot I was on early. And I got to LAX and I tweeted at United and I was like, is the Wi-Fi good enough in the United Club that I could play this? And they responded back like, yeah, it is. And I was like, all right.
Really? I didn't see they were
Bought
so
the day pass, went up there for 2 hours of Division 2 in the
Wow.
United Club, surrounded by business people. Very, very important, stressful business people. But it ran and it worked and it was great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I told him I played Destiny in the United Club before, so.
Well, from Chicago, we went to Kansas City. When I got to Kansas City, the first thing I did was hook it up on my hotel TV. Like, I hoped against hope that the internet would be good enough. It was not.
Yeah, it's really just the upload speed, I believe, is the main one you got to worry about, obviously. And like,
Yeah.
it's not, you don't need a ton of speed. It just can't be total crap.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't believe how do you carry your PlayStation 4 around? Do you have it,
The
just throw it in your like luggage?
PlayStation 4 comes with me in the backpack.
Yeah.
It's treated the best. The game screen I use, which a lot of people on my Instagram and Twitter are asking about, I use a game screen from the games company.
M155.
Right, and it's powered simply by USB that plugs into the PlayStation. So the only outlet I use is the PlayStation power, and then it's a USB to the screen itself. The screen, the cables, and the controller I just throw into my carry-on bag.
Yeah,
That way
'cause
if
then you have everything
If that
ready,
gets
obviously.
checked or something, whatever, I don't care. It'll be fun.
That's awesome.
And so I did all that, and then I've been trying to convince Fran and now Andrea of how we're going to tackle the title base and Stronghold tomorrow. Today,
Because he's flying. And so now it's
roughly
our
at
fault.
3:30
now.
this morning.
About his schedule.
Division 2 is going to go
Yep.
and wake up from its update period and have a brand new title base in Stronghold for us
Tier
to take
5.
on, right? And we'll be able to go to Tier 5. We'll be able to do missions and get better gear.
New
World
exotics.
Tier
New
5.
world tier. New exotics. That's right. There's a new PvP map. Fran knows. I sent him all this
yeah,
information.
I have a lot of work to do tonight to get to Tier 5. I'm still in
Tier 4?
Yeah, I'm still in Tier 2.
Oh, I got you.
You can't do it in a night.
Yeah, you can. You
you
make
kidding
this
me?
out to be such a Sisyphean effort
wait, what's
pushing
your
a
gear
ball
level?
off the
I'm like 350 right now, but all it's gonna take is a bunch of my
A lot of carries?
agents of WGG dropping all their high level gear. I pick up all the gear.
Well, that's true
and
if you're going to
bam.
cheat. I would do the same thing right now.
That's not cheating.
It's not.
That's the
I
whole
took
point
some of those
playing
items
with
there.
the clan.
It's
No,
also
you're right.
just the thing of
you can only get the tiers of their job, but that's true.
all I have to do is
You could
run
do
all the
it.
missions.
You could do it. You're right.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like Fran always makes these missions. They're not that hard.
No, but
Fran.
it is-
Last
I
night,
think-
him and me want to do one on hard. He's like, I don't know if we
I still
can.
think
I'm
she's
like,
probably like
"We got
5-6 hours away. I don't think it's a small amount. Now, what I would say is going into Tier 5. So gear level max is about 450 to 465, depending on what you've done.
You can take off.
we
Tim,
think-
we'll let you know when this is done.
Is it going up to 500? Do we know yet? I don't know that they
think we know.
confirmed that. I assume
think
that
500.
It is.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It could be 5 or 550 though.
Yeah, you think so? Is the way that
But
tiers are
anyway,
balanced out.
a bit of a. But I mean, let's. I guess.
So,
stay
anyways,
focused.
Tim,
Tier
3:30 in
5.
the morning. I either want
New Stronghold.
I will either wake up at 3:30 in the morning, or we'll just say 4. And we bust out this stronghold. We do some missions. Then I'll go to bed,
Take a
or
little
I'll
nap,
play all the
get
way
to
to
the
the
airport.
airplane. I'll sleep on the airplane. Or we just wake up at 7, I'm telling you. We do it before you two host Kind of Funny Games Daily.
So like,
Wait, hold on. You saying you're doing this? Are you also part of this at 3:30?
so we would all love to play
3:30
together.
is probably a little aggressive. I'm down for like a 5 a.m. wake up.
Cowards.
Because we have to come in and host
Here's-
KFGD
yeah,
tomorrow.
We have
Excuses.
Frandria Friday.
Kevin.
I
I
you're
thought
shocked by me being hosting screencast. Go to hell.
Wow, really taking
and
down
we're
a
laying
notch.
it all on the table.
it's definitely not the first time I said that though, Kevin.
The point is, this is where we're at with Division.
This is where the rubber meets the road, Tim.
Yeah,
You know
we
what
got
I mean?
a new shipment of
And if you think
the
this
goods
is
coming in.
if you guys think this is bad,
Yeah.
I want on the record that like a moron. I was like, oh, you know what I'll do? I haven't been home for my birthday in fucking forever. I'll go home for my birthday, see my mom and dad. It'll be a
When's
great
your
thing.
birthday?
April 27th. And
Oh,
guess when the
yeah.
goddamn raid drops? April 25th.
Fifth.
So
Oh,
I'm
no.
seeing fucking Avengers, and then I'm coming home and we're playing this raid all night.
That's the date. Oh crap! So I watched the trailer today. It was like
Yeah.
April 25th, and I was like, "Well, I remember that Days Gone's coming out." It's like, but there's something else that's nagging me.
Now here's the
Freaking
thing.
Endgame.
But here's the thing.
Oh,
Think of it this
no.
way. Think of it this 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 way.
They gotta push the raid
It's probably
back.
going to be
Push it
just
back.
like this. It's probably just going to be like this. So it'll drop at like 3:30 in the morning.
The
of
day- the morning.
Yeah.
True.
So again, we wake up and we call in sick to work, and then we go see Avengers.
Barrett can hold the fort down, right?
Yeah,
Barrett?
because we're going to see Endgame at around 6 p.m. ish, right?
6:15, yeah.
All right.
Do you know if it has Wi-Fi in the theater?
Greg, we need a generator.
Yes.
It does.
And we need
Yes,
to get
it
there
does.
early, get in our seats early.
yeah.
And you know.
Bring
We
all
it's a
the-
long
we have
movie.
reserved seats, don't we?
Yeah, we're totally
Yeah.
good.
And let's face it, when Tony Stark goes off in one of his long, like, funny rants, we'll just play a little. Get it
How
out.
dare
Get a
you.
little bit in
Taste.
there.
Just
Get
get
a
a
little
taste.
in there.
I want to see what
Good
the gear score is
Lord.
there. So I'm around the bend on this. If you
Yeah.
haven't noticed, like it's awesome.
April?
It's nice to be obsessed with something like this. You know what I mean? Where there's nonstop content coming from it. There's
That's
cool
great.
things.
I mean, that's the
Gatling
thing I'm
guns.
so jealous of. Like, I'm here bitching about all these goddamn spirits and Smash. I wish that there was these things.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they kept giving more and more. I know Smash 3.0 is coming. When? I don't know. What's going to add? Hopefully this shit. Hopefully something substantial.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting, and we never actually talked about it on the show. If you remember, we never really got into Endgame, and we may not want to spend too much time on it. But the short comment I am just amazed at the amount of content. I don't know if you guys feel that way. It's kind of incredible and overwhelming.
When I was down in
Like-
LA yesterday, one of the guys in the shoot wanted to talk to me just about this and a division. And the thing I was saying is like, and I'm not trying to knock anything. Don't get me wrong. I had a great time with Destiny 2. Right, we played it for that month, and I raided with you guys, and it was great. And then when I platinumed it, I felt like, all right, cool, I'm done. And I put it down.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I'm striving to. One day I'm gonna have the Division 2 platinum. But it is like, I'm not, even though I'm in an end game and we're in this weird spot for the last week where we've been waiting for tier 5
Yeah.
to drop, I haven't been solely focused on it. I've literally been like, all right, well, I better bust out all my projects. All right, well, oh, look, there's a side mission that just opened up. Like, the side
Yeah,
mission's giving me
yeah.
XP, but it's not like giving me something towards
you
my
don't
trophies.
even have all your abilities yet.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
all that we've played. I mean, 50 hours, 60, 70, right? You do not have all your abilities. Stuff on the map you're still getting. It's unreal how much detail.
Just stop making other games. You know what I mean? We've done it.
We did it.
It's
We've
unreal
peaked.
to me how much content and thought they put in the game. Once they've patched up all their stuff, that's what I will say about it, where I'm at with it. They had these scaling issues. That was the biggest issue I had, and I wouldn't downplay it. It was a huge problem at launch, and they fixed it as far as I can tell, and a bunch of other issues. And there's so much to do in Division 2. I still can't wrap my mind around how much of it there is, because it's this huge open world, and there's always something. I've barely played Dark Zone, PvP, played a few matches. There's so much I still have left to do, and I've played over
Have you done
70
Contaminated
hours.
Zones?
Yes, I have.
No, I don't believe so.
I haven't done it because like none of the stuff had pushed
There
us
was
there. And then I
one-
read the Kotaku article today of like, it needs more of this. And I was like, what is it? And I clicked on it. It's like, it's not even fighting. It's little mini puzzles. and
It's
puzzle rooms.
exploration.
Oh wait, I
for the
have
most
done
part.
maybe one of those, and there's like a mask hidden in one of them too. I think.
Sure.
And like, it's just kudos to the team.
But it was like, and it's, the other
massive.
night I was like, man, I want to play, but I don't feel like doing this, and I don't want to raise you because I wasn't gonna play. I was like, I know what I'll do, and I googled where all the dies are, and I just ran around for like 40 minutes collecting all the dies. So I'm like, I'm having a great
Oh,
time.
that's actually a really good plan.
Andrea, what is the contaminated zone?
They're essentially just like small little zones on the map that you go through, and like what I like about them is that they're not combat intensive, so you can kind of like take your time, like looting things, picking up. There's usually a lot more pieces of lore within the contaminated zones, and what I like is that there's like a color indicator to let you know when you've cleared everything in the contaminated zone.
I gotta check this out tonight.
So if it doesn't like go from red to gray, you know that there's something that you've missed inside. And essentially when you go in there, there's like a a good collectible to find inside.
Yeah. It's cool because it brings a little taste of, so when you go in the dark zone, you flip on your mask, right? Because it's contaminated.
Yeah.
Everything's contaminated. And that, for perspective, when not in the dark zone where other players can attack you, that's sort of always the risk. You can just walk around in the open world and there's these contaminated zones that you have to clear out. And you get a little taste of that. You see your mask come on your character, which you normally don't see. And it just, I think the sound even changes a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool vibe. You're kind of just
Right.
looting, and you're right, it's a little different. It's not like as combat intensive, but it's a cool
And sometimes
feeling. You'll still
getting
get
into them
attacked,
is
but-
puzzle based. That's what I really like about. I've been going around and collecting like some of the shade tech
Yeah.
caches, and like you'll see it on the map, and then trying to figure out how
like
to get
behind
to
a
it
fence,
is
you're like-
kind of like almost like a traversal puzzle
It is,
in a
yeah.
way.
They really, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's something as simple as I'm just going to get an ability point. That's the shade tech, SHD tech, which Andrea taught me how to say properly. But you're going to get it, and it's just one little thing on the map. And you're like, all right, cool. And then you're like, wait, like, how do I get there? And you might spend 15, 20 minutes. And overall, it feels rewarding overall. It doesn't feel frustrating. And because of the pace that they've set for all this stuff, that's what I've been amazed by.
Yeah.
That I don't feel that it's daunting to say, go get a mask or a die, a vanity item, right? I feel like, well, I'll get to that later. I've got to finish my dailies first because I'm saving up money and I'm doing like power grind type stuff.
Do you play this game every day, Fran?
Not every day, but close to it, because there are daily missions and they're really challenging and you get a ton of loot. And that's what I've been trained having played
So
looter shooters
scared
forever.
last night. I was so terrified. Oh, just the two of us in this hard mission? I was like, we got
okay,
it.
it was-
Oh, no, it's the challenge. No,
it
it's
was
not.
hard.
Just shoot him.
Watch the
and
end.
you let your skills go to shit because you've been playing that Sekiro. He's tried to play that
Oh,
Borderlands.
I did play
Last
Tetsuya.
night I was carrying your ass for the first 15 minutes.
Oh, right. Okay, now that he's like max gear score, look at Greggy over
I'll
here.
drop it. I'll put on 350 gear score. I'll
Can't
still outclass
spell
you out there.
Ego without Greg.
And an O.
As somebody who played on your squad, I'm kind of in Greg's camp here, friend.
That what? I'm letting my skills go to crap?
Yeah.
Get off my butt, people. Get off me. Last thing I want to say is that's what I love about this game. Like, having played so many looter shooters, I'm like I realize how much money and materials you're going to need for tier 5. And I've turned more to that camp. I don't have time to get vanity items, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, I need to finish my dailies because we're gonna find ourselves, I'm pretty sure, in tier 5. And you're trying to max upgrade, and you're like, crap, I need so much more. And another thing I would note, the specializations, the 3 types, and there's more coming, a total of 6 across the year, I think.
Gatling gun's the next one, Tim. Very excited.
Or is it total
stuff,
8?
yeah, for sure.
But there's a Gatling gun coming. That's specialization 4. To level that stuff up is such a grind, but I'm not hating
is
on
it?
It is.
No, I'm arguing with you about it because I don't think it is.
I'm pretty sure, and actually, I would love a correction. So what happens is the first one you choose, not too bad. After that, you don't get a ton of specialization points.
Because what you do if you do the dailies and all that.
That's
jazz,
only
yeah.
like 3 apiece or something. You got to get to 160 points. Anyway, that is what amazes me. There's so much to grind for. So I'm looking forward to tier 5, where I think a lot of this
I
comes
think-
more of a stop, and you're going to have to grind. So the people you see running around.
That's what
with
people
max level-
wanted,
That's
right?
what you want. When
Yeah.
you run around with max level stuff, you're like, this dude's like, whatever, 540. If it's going to be 500, I don't know. You work for it. And so far, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I think you ask me all the time if I'm doing the what is it, reclamation? Right?
Recalibration. Yes.
where I'm taking perks from other things and applying to it. And I'm not, right?
You
I'm
should
still,
wait.
I'm still just going and doing it. But so my question would be is like, I don't think it really matters. And I know plenty of people in our clan, I'm sure in Andrea's clan, they're all like, no, I have this loadout and that thing and blah, blah.
Yeah.
For me, I really do feel like I play one way and it's been great and I don't care about the thing. And I'm wondering if when we get to raid, if that's when it's going to be like, oh,
100%.
fuck yeah.
And-
Loadouts will matter for raid for sure.
And let me tell you, I know you've played some challenging missions, Greg, but those can be brutal sometimes. Like last night, I switched my loadout up because I'm like, whatever, I'm a pro now. I tried going sniper. I'm at like level 0 of that basically, and went in with a random team overall, one member of the Kind of Funny clan, Tang, and went in there. We got stomped. It was like hair pulling for all of us. And it was because like we changed the loadout up and I didn't have the perks. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see as we head to tier 5. And that's what makes this game exciting.
Tim's going to switch the point. We have to. So
know,
what
we
time
gotta
are we
move on.
playing Tidal Basin? Is it 5 a.m. or 7 a.m.?
I'm more in the 3:30 a.m. camp. Well, I don't know. We got Kind of Funny games. No, but I mean, I'd rather do that for a little bit, get a little sleep, than come back to the show than I would like wake up at
early and go?
4:30 to get ready to play at 5.
if we, I think 7 we could do it.
Do
I
it,
think-
you coward.
Maybe that.
Wake it up. It's 7, and we just
only
all you
reason
do is
you're
title
right.
basing. What Strongholds take us 45
So
minutes?
to give you two things.
Why is
The
Andrew
only
so
reason I want
scared
to
of it?
the only reason I want to play then
I'm
is
not
because
scared of it.
playing with you guys. The reason I don't want to play 2 hours ain't enough once I start sinking my teeth into that meal. And I need it, and I need it for like 8 to 10 hours. So it's Friday, but that's what I'm looking forward to is when I go, I'm going like 8, 10 hours. Sometimes I've gone like 13, 15 hours playing stuff like that.
Not
So
good for your eyes.
Twitch.tv/FM3_.
don't be a baby. It's not good for your eyes. That's right. So that's where I'm
you gotta
at.
get some glasses with the blue blocker.
Gunnar.
Yeah,
Ours.
I
Also
actually
now
have
movement.
some, and I don't like
Yeah.
the
The Everscroll glasses.
Hell yeah, dude. You know what's
I
up.
remember these
Anyway,
ads.
Division is an obsession.
Yeah.
Fine, we're doing 7 a.m. on
Have
the
we
side.
seen? We should look up after this. I'd love to see sales on it and stuff. I feel like hasn't caught to the level that we're caught up in it, but it definitely has hit the mark with the fans.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what the sales numbers have been.
They have not released it, but
It was
Looking
digital.
forward
It
to
was the
seeing
same thing
it.
as always, where it sold. It was number 1 in the UK, but it actually did less than the other one. But there's all these games. It's digital games.
yeah, the digital sales really definitely need to be included.
Yes.
But
Oh yeah.
the first division was incredibly successful for Ubisoft and didn't have nearly the support at launch that this game has had. So
All we have right now is that one story that Greg's talking about, where Division 2 has sold 20% of what Division 1 did, but it's only in the UK.
That was only
and it's only
it's
physical.
way too
So,
small of a sample.
Doesn't mean shit,
Yep.
if you ask me.
I'm looking forward to hearing, basically, if it's on path. We've got a whole year of really good content, and I'm hoping that it's catching. But if not, I'm curious what Ubisoft, maybe is doing about it, because it does deserve to be played. It's really
This is something
well
I left out. Division's awesome. Can't wait. 7 a.m. Fucking be on. I know Andrew will be. We'll see about.
I'll be awake.
I was
7 a.m.
googling around trying to figure out. I'm looking at the IGN article for Iron Man, right? And they nail it. I think there's no buttons to turn, because they say camouflage system makes a lot of smart calls, and having full 360 degrees of motion to turn around and fly prevents the experience from ever feeling limited. Because that was
Who
the
wrote
thing.
this article?
This is written by
Joe Scrabbles, made up
Jonathan
name.
Dornbush. It was Dornbush.
Oh, Dorn.
But it was, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Bush.
it is 360 and it didn't lose
what
me
we call
tracking ever, which is interesting. Because usually, like, I've played a lot of PlayStation VR games where you turn your head to the side, right? And granted, there's still 2 lights there, but it did lose you. This didn't lose me, and there was
Probably doesn't
there was
lose
me
it then.
spinning, and then I would like spin back the other way to untangle myself or whatever, because
Yeah.
it's still corded. So it is just 360 turning. It isn't buttons at all.
I want to hear when Tim plays this.
I always thought it was
Seems like
bullshit
he's-
when War Machine, when Rhodes
Dumb name.
took Tony Stark's suit in Iron Man 2 and then just flew off and knew how to fly. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But
he was a
apparently
test pilot.
Greg Miller can do it.
Yeah,
So he's good.
I mean, it's intuitive.
yeah.
Greg
So,
can do it.
If Greg can do it, I
That's
get
how
it.
the movie lore works.
Yeah,
if Greg
yeah,
can
yeah.
do it, anybody can hop
Exactly.
on
I'm
it.
an
So
idiot.
I want to talk about Borderlands, but first, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Admit it, you think that cybercrime is something that happens to other people, not you. You may think that no one wants your data or that hackers can't grab your passwords or credit card details, but you would be wrong. We've had a lot of issues before with some of this stuff going on with our business cards and whatever. Stealing data from unsuspecting people on public Wi-Fi is one of the simplest and cheapest ways for hackers to make money. When you leave your internet connection unencrypted, you might as well be writing your passwords and credit card numbers on a huge billboard for the rest of the world to see. So that's why ExpressVPN is a great option for you. ExpressVPN secures and, oh my God, I don't know how to say this, anonymizes. That's probably right. Anonymizes your internet browsing by encrypting your data and hiding your public IP address. Anonymizes, word of the day. ExpressVPN has easy to use apps that run seamlessly in the background of your computer, phone, and tablet. Turning on protection only takes 1 click. It's super easy. It's rated the #1 VPN service by TechRadar and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This ExpressVPN, this sounds like a Kevin Coelho thing 101 if I've ever heard it. Am I right, Kev? There you go. Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 months free at expressvpn.com/kindafunny. That's expressvpn.com/kindafunny, expressvpn.com/kindafunny for 3 months free with a 1-year package. So there you go with that. And then also, shout out to Zebit. Zebit believes that everyone deserves access to lifelong interest-free credit. With Zebit, you have the power to buy what you need and pay over time, interest-free. The Zebit marketplace has everything you need, from everyday items and electronics to furniture and appliances, all from your favorite brands at competitive prices. No one likes zero of anything. Like when you break your phone and lose contact with the outside world. You get zero calls, zero texts, zero social media. Honestly, life without a phone means pretty much zero everything. Having zero of anything is hardly ever a good thing unless we're talking about Zebit. That's Z-E-B-I-T. They'll change your whole perspective on zero forever. A better credit option, Zebit provides a better credit option for those who need it. They allow you to buy what you need and pay over time, interest-free. Zebit does not check your credit score. They has zero impact on your credit score, and your Zebit account does not affect that score at all. Zebit has everyday items at everyday prices. They have more than 50,000 products in the marketplace with brand names like Xbox, Sony, Apple, GoPro, and Fitbit. From electronics to barbecues, furniture, and more, Zebit has everything you need for when you need it. Sign up for Zebit today at zebit.com/kinda and get $2,500 credit to the shop, the Zebit marketplace at zero interest and zero cost to join. That's zebit.com/kinda for $2,500 of interest-free credit. Zebit.com/kinda. Borderlands 2. No, Borderlands 1.
Borderlands
Game of the
original
Year
Game of the Year edition. Fran, you were talking a lot of shit yesterday. You're like, me and Greg, we're going to play it. We're going to play it tonight. What happened?
So it's really simple. It's not the game. First time ever playing the game. Discussion to be had at a later time because unfortunately we were stymied. Greg and I spent probably a good hour, almost 40 minutes, trying to get in the game because they had connection problems.
Video games.
2019 video games.
He's getting booted. We couldn't invite. We didn't know what was going on.
Console gaming, am I right?
Right, Greg. You Googled around.
Yeah, well, the concern was like, Fran did the normal thing of like, you want to play this tonight? I'm like, yeah, totally. And he's like, well, hold on, I got to turn on 5 PCs and put up all these tabs.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to play for a little bit. And then you could just jump in.
Yeah, so you got a little ahead of me as I was
So I was like
setting up the
level
stream.
5, right? And then he was like, he started and he's like, when can we join? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can join right from the beginning or any time.
You can,
And
yeah.
so then it was like, all right, cool. So Fran sent me an invite and I
Right
came over
away.
to try to do it. And I got the, please wait.
Pinwheel.
And pinwheel, and then just pop back to the main menu. It's like, yeah, you couldn't connect to the host. And so we did that a bunch of
And I'm
times.
like, well, maybe
Then
it's tutorial.
Then I full
Like-
straight up blue screen and got kicked out, restarted it. He invited me again, didn't work. I invited him. He joined. Like, all right, fine, let's just fucking play.
Then he was too far ahead of
And it's
me.
like, yeah,
We
this
almost had it.
It's like, you're level 1, you're not a shield yet, Fran. You can't play this. We're
Yeah.
Borderlands. Like, well, at least we know. Booted him back out, and then we were on stream. So he's like, maybe I have to get to level 5. That's what the chat's saying. We played up to level 5. Same things were happening.
we
Same
just got
deaths.
booted.
And like, we kept going back and forth. And then it hard locked my PlayStation in general. And I was like, all right, I'm playing Division. You can come with me. You cannot. I'm out of here.
So the unfortunate part I would say is that it's that, you look at this as a decade-old game or whatever, but the server issues for these types of games, as you can see, it's not like just because it's an old game, oh, don't worry about it. They just sort of remastered it and brought it online. These problems just still exist every day. Like as we look forward, it kind of brings me down in that. I was like, well, it's an old game, hopefully very smooth, but it doesn't matter. If you're putting anything online, shared world shooter stuff, I think we can expect it. I mean, Division was surprisingly smooth. I think it had some disconnect issues, but overall
the playing
it was good.
of what I played last night, it was, oh man, that's Borderlands again. And it's Borderlands is that thing I really don't. If you were to put, Greg, what do you like? I'd name a million games, right? I don't think I would ever name Borderlands. But then when Fran was like, so what's your experience again with this? And I was like, well, I played Borderlands 1 too late during Game of the Year, so nobody else was playing, didn't get that deep into it. But I played the shit out of Borderlands 2, and then I played the pre-sequel. Then I remember on the Handsome Jack
you
collection
played a
playing
lot,
again
obviously.
on PlayStation or 4. I played a little bit on Vita. I did all the and I was like, fuck, I really like Borderlands. And I was like, I forgot that I really like Borderlands. And so even last night, jumping back into it, it was like so refreshing to be like, oh man, Claptrap again. And yeah, all right. And and it was like, it is very much, oh, hey, guess what? I'm playing an old game. This is the OG Borderlands. Don't get me wrong. It was running smoothly for us. I know people.
Yeah.
I tweeted about the connection problems.
Yeah, single player's fine, by the way.
Responses were, oh yeah, no, there's been a lot of problems. It's been broken all day.
Xbox
blah, blah, blah.
had issues,
Okay,
they had
cool.
to fix it, yeah.
But then playing it, a lot of people were talking about screen tearing on PlayStation 4. I didn't see that last night.
I didn't see that.
But playing it, it's up-res. It's
I'm on the
pretty.
Pro.
It's doing all these different things. But it was still funny. It's, barren in a lot of ways. You look at like how quaint like their layouts of like titles are and the way their graphics package work. Even like, the traditional Borderlands opening cutscene, right, where a music swell comes in. Like when they put up Borderlands, like, wow, this is definitely the first time you ever did this because it's so good now, right? Like, if anything, it was a great taste. If we could have played together, it would have been more fun, obviously. But for me, it was very much. It's the same thing with Borderlands VR or Borderlands 2 VR, where, oh man, they patched in the move control or the PlayStation gun now. Whatever, I always forget the name of it.
Sharpshooter.
No, that's not true. You're just trying to. You don't piss me off. Anyways,
I wasn't fucking with you.
It's aim something, right?
whatever, the
Isn't it
PlayStation
just
Move
called AIM?
gun shooter. They patched that in so you can actually have that. And I was like, man, I really want to go back and play Borderlands 2. And I was like, you know what? I don't. I want Borderlands 3. I'm gonna wait for Borderlands 3 really to get into this.
The VR aim controller.
PlayStation Move Sharpshooter.
Oh, is that the PS3 one?
PS3 one.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't being an asshole.
Okay, you know what? Calm down,
Jesus.
please, sir. Do you want
Christ.
another gallon of Red Bull?
Yeah, I think
I
when
would
we're
love-
talking
I had
about
a Red Bull here.
Borderlands,
Like he's wearing the shirt that says "relax."
I appreciate that they did an HD makeover for the original for people like Fran who never played it.
Yeah.
But they improved so much mechanically and quality of life in Borderlands 2 that I would say with how long those games are with all the DLC packs, maybe it's skippable.
I 100%
The first
agree.
one.
When I
mean, I got
Borderlands
till
2 is such an
September.
improvement. I thought pre-sequel was really good as well.
Yeah.
I got till September, so that's.
But you do have the Division.
I have a
You
lot.
don't.
Don't
till
give up
September.
on
Don't you
Washington.
forget about Destiny, friend.
What are you crazy? No,
There's only one D2 now.
Yes, still
only-
Destiny
I make
2.
people in my chat
Yeah.
say Div 2 or
Mighty
something
does.
because people come in and they're like, "What do you think of D2?" Blah, blah. And I'm like, "You
D2
can't-
is Destiny 2.
It's Destiny 2. Now, do not say D2 anywhere ever unless it's Destiny 2. It's Div 2 or
is Destiny 2's grade. A+ is the Division's 2 grade. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's okay,
Wow.
because the
Yeah.
Division is where people go that don't have actual shooter skills.
wow.
That's right, I said
After
it.
playing
Sounds like
Borderlands
Fran.
last
That's
night,
right.
I will not argue that point. I was like, oh, right. I aimed
I
on
mean, it is
sights.
a first-person
This is
shooter
weird.
versus third person. But what I want to say is I'm looking forward to finally playing Borderlands. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say judging the first 5 levels of walking back and forth
Sure.
between the camp. But the taste of it, I realized, of course, I always knew I would like it. It was just a time thing. But people always ask, because they're like, you like Destiny and you haven't played this? And like, this was what set the stage. And I really appreciated in those first moments. I was like, oh, wow. I can see the inspiration that Bungie even got from this. Clearly, just like, it set the stage for where we're at today. And like,
Totally.
so kudos to
Having
the Gearbox
not played
team.
a Borderlands 1, let alone a Borderlands in quite some time, turning it on last night and going like,
Just
oh my
the
gosh,
loot
I
game.
forgot how ahead of their time they were
They
on so many
really
of these
were.
things.
So that,
But then to Andrew's point, like, the menus in it, I was just like, okay, yeah.
Based on that
it
merit.
didn't age as well as we thought. So,
But it's totally playable. I feel like although
Of
it didn't
course, yeah.
age as well, it's not like it doesn't drag you down. It just looks
True.
a little old. Like even the mag versus the ammo case and all that. Like you're looking at your overlay in your HUD. And I'm like, it's kind of like old school. But it's fine. But you're right.
Gets me
We've
super
evolved
excited for
so
Borderlands
much.
3.
So I'm excited for Borderlands 3 now.
It's hard to forget Borderlands 3 because when you're playing, as soon as you turn on Borderlands Game of the Year
Oh,
edition,
dude.
1/5 of the real
We
estate
should-
up there is like pre-order Borderlands.
What do you
3.
think
I'm
about
like,
that?
yikes.
Like we're sitting there trying to load in the game, and the upper right corner is an ad for.
I think it's very clear of why they did this and why they put it out here. Of like, hey, we just made all these Borderlands announcements. You get
A lot of people. I saw some chatter about it being sort of wrong. Like you shouldn't do that.
why not? It's their
and
game. It's their franchise.
Yeah, like it's a game you buy, and you're right. It's their franchise. I think because you bought the game, people are like, "Why are you serving me ads?" But it's not like. It's just a little overlay. It's not like a full screen ad. That would probably piss me off.
Didn't it when we started? Wasn't it a full screen ad when we started?
Oh, that was
Like,
before you start. But that's in other words, it doesn't like interrupt in the middle of like your load time or add something.
Hey, Vault Hunter,
that, hey, you might want to check out Borderlands.
3.
Like Claptrap
No, let
comes
me
in with a
fucking
new
know.
cutscene. So I'm excited to play more.
MLB The Show. Big
What's
baby Barrett.
up, everybody? Is my mic on, Kev? Yep. Tight. I have
baby in the
returned.
house.
Last week, I, of course, was on Gamescast, but I hadn't played MLB The Show 19 code provided by Sony PlayStation.
That's my man. Come here. Give it.
Oh my God.
So I finally played it, and I'm reporting back.
That's
Sort
how
of
you do
shoot
that,
reporter.
Barrett. That's how you do that. Please
I'm gonna do
learn
it-
how to do the duties.
No, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it my way.
It's an SOS code, Barrett.
Well, that's not the SOS.
Wait, every time he reports back, he's got to do that?
I'm reporting back.
It is
It's
Kevin.
the same game with some cool new stuff, cool new features.
Did you know he was a baseball guy?
No.
When he asked for the baseball game,
I
and he
never
was like,
knew
I'm
you were
going
a
to the
baseball guy.
Giants game. Then I was like, oh, you like baseball. I was like, I'm Psycho Mantis figuring it all out.
Yeah, I was raised in a baseball family, so
Sure.
it was from early on.
His mom
I
was a
just wanna
bat. His dad was a
say
catcher.
the modes I have not played: Road to the Show, Diamond Dynasty, and Conquest. So I cannot comment on those. The mode that I go to all the time, every year, is franchise mode, where you're doing all the manager stuff, playing throughout the season, playing every game, all that crazy stuff. Something I noticed with franchise mode, and I don't know if this is the thing with every game, is that, you know, like Cool Greg was getting his hair dyed last night, so Alyssa came over here. They did it all here. So I uploaded my save to the cloud, downloaded it here, and started playing here. It saved my like franchise, like the games that I had won and all that stuff. But something I noticed it doesn't save is like all my options. So like I've got like a specific like
controls and stuff, you mean?
Controls and even like the settings for difficulty. Like the first week of the season, I usually, when I first get the game, I'll set it to dynamic so you can like kind of see like where you're at in the difficulty.
Doesn't save your
so it doesn't save any of that, which I thought was interesting.
Are you sure there's not two save files?
Never.
Because that's traditionally how it works. For me, somebody who uploads a lot of files, you have whatever your franchise, whatever, and then you have a settings option.
Gotcha. No, I did not look into that.
That's so you think you might upload?
That happens a lot. Not as much anymore, but back when I was really moving things around, like PlayStation 3, early PlayStation 4.
That makes sense because when I went to check out other modes, they were their own saves as well.
So you'll have an option save you need to get
But yeah, I was like very like, whoa, when I had to like repick like who my team was and all this stuff. I was like, I did this already.
So it was your fault.
Yeah, it was my fault. I'm an idiot. Greg
Boss baby needs a bottle.
The two new modes that I think are very significant this year are the Moments mode and Road to October. If you're not crazy like me and you don't like, you want to play through a season, but you don't want to get into the nitty gritty of trading and playing every game and all that stuff, you can simulate games in franchise. If you want to get like those quick hot moments, you can go to Road to October, which you pick a team and there's like 4 different like ranks of like how likely, like what are they projected to, like how many games they're going to win this season, and they'll drop you into just random moments in like every 6 or 7 games and be like, all right, like opening day, we're dropping you into the bottom of the 6 and you're going to play the rest of the game, just win. And if you win, you get like a hot streak. So when like the 6 or 7 games it'll like simulate, you'll get like you'll likely get more wins, and that'll like put your projection like
steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring you to the home run
it'll put your projection of like the games you win for the season up like more. So like I started at 84 and then I went up to 92. And if you don't like, if you lose the game and you don't accomplish like whatever goal they set you towards, you get on a cold streak and then you go down and all that stuff. It's a really cool, interesting system, and it's like
keep it moving.
Yeah, and so really like I got through like a month worth of games in like an hour, and it was like super snappy and all that cool stuff. And yeah, like sometimes they'll just drop you into the bottom of the 9th and it's like, oh, Kluber is like on his way to pitch a no-hitter, like do the no-hitter.
Bottom of
and
the
like
9th, Barrett, no-hitter.
And like the cool thing is like I didn't get the no-hitter, but we still won the game. So it was like, oh, you didn't accomplish this, but you still won, so you're like kind of on a hot streak right now and all that stuff. So it's
warm
like
streak.
Yeah, and a warm screen.
Mild.
So that one is super cool. I highly recommend that if you're trying to get into like full seasons of MLB. And then
is
there's
MLB
also
The Show pretty much the only game in town is when it comes to baseball on any console and
there's
PC?
Rbi Baseball, and we do not talk about Rbi Baseball. It is a tragedy to all baseball. Yeah,
But just to convert, like pretty much if you want to play a baseball game, you probably
it's
have a
MLB
PlayStation.
The Show, PlayStation.
That's their advantage. It's like how 2K's multi-platform for NBA, but that's like what you play if you want to play basketball, right?
The other cool
EA would have something to say about that.
Well,
they brought live back, kind of. Remember?
Did they?
Yeah. It's more like Madden, more NFL. They have the exclusive.
I didn't know
NFL.
that they kind of were.
Oh, yeah.
They got positive like feedback.
Well,
on
no,
that.
I said they brought it back.
Yeah.
I didn't say. I wasn't talking about feedback. I was
So
saying that game
right,
exists.
but I know that it's out there, but it's no good. Anyway.
The other cool new mode is Moments, and they have you like you can play through like significant moments in history of baseball. So there's like a whole chapter
cool.
of Willie Mays. There's a whole chapter of Babe Ruth.
Say, hey,
this whole
Willie
chapter
Mays.
for the Cubs when they won in 2016, which hurt a lot because they beat the Indians. And so, but yeah, I played like the Willie Mays one. It was
Get
like
out.
they showed this cool little video like leading up to what that moment was about and why it's important in history. Where the first
cool.
moment is like his first major league hit in a game, which was also a home run. And yeah, like his first like 3 games, he had no hits or anything, and it was like the 4th game he had ever played in the major league, and it was a home run against the best pitcher at the time.
So you're playing these moments.
Yeah,
And
it's-
how does the information get conveyed to you?
So like they'll play like a video showing like old timey
Live
footage.
action video?
What's it?
Live action?
Yeah,
Or-
live
oh,
action
cool.
footage and all that stuff. And it's
Oh.
really cool. They give you like they give you a little history
Pretty cool.
lesson. And I didn't check out the Cubs because that one hurts. And then
you
You
could do something about
you
this.
could've rewritten history.
Could let them
But then-
trash
so how
talk
does
the
this
Cubs
work
on
where-
their show.
They won in the long run. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I imagine that there's the rosters or the modern rosters, right?
Yeah.
And like you can download new ones or whatever as the
Yeah.
season goes on. But how do you do that for like old moments? Like, is it who's on the team?
So it's in those moments you're playing like as like Willie Mays. I don't know if they also bring in. I imagine they've also brought in like old rosters as well.
Yeah, we're not playing the whole game, right? You're just playing that moment.
You're playing
so
that
it's whoever
moment,
be on
so
the
whoever's
field.
on the field.
Yeah,
It
so
should be
it's like-
accurate, I would think.
Yeah, like
that's
you're in the bottom
what I was
of the first. You're playing as Willie Mays. You got to hit a home run against this dude. If you don't, you fail the like mission or whatever, and you don't
You
get
kill your
the
family.
XP for your.
So extreme.
So
That's how it was for Willie Mays.
Yeah, it's
They got to fourth game, and like if you don't hit a home run,
It's
Yeah,
more
family
of the
dies.
show, but with some cool stuff, new features that I think are definitely worth checking out. The 1-2 things that I noticed, and these aren't like super down points, but the crowd AI reactions are like kind of off. Like I remember from like 2014 or 2015, whatever one I played a lot. Like if I'm at home and it's like bottom of the seventh, two up, two down, and I like hit a ball. And then the crowd cheers like, oh, he hit it, like, let's go. And then someone catches it, the crowd would instantly react like, ah, damn it. But this time around, if like I'm at home, same situation, if I hit the ball, like the crowd will cheer and then the person will catch it and they'll keep cheering. And it's like, that's not right. And then
Stop.
Is
I've
this
also
pre-release code or is this final code?
the game's out.
Yeah, I was
It's
just
been out
checking that.
for-
So it is final
It
code.
came
Yeah, it is
out
final
late
code.
March, just like March 26th just came out.
Yeah, and
is
so
it maybe you're playing as the Cleveland Indians, though, right?
Yes.
Is it just that the fans are stupid in Cleveland now?
Oh,
They gotten dumber?
shots
Wow.
fired.
It might be
possible.
It might be.
And then
I have a
also-
question.
What's up?
Why is it called MLB The Show? It seems like a bad name for a game.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Didn't they rebrand what it used to be, Greg? Do you remember?
It must be like, what, 989, all that crap. It's been the show forever now.
Okay.
It's
So
been a
funny
while.
because I remember I actually covered a preview event with like Ron down in San Diego. I went and saw them like doing mocap early, 2000s, and to see how far it's. See, I think that's what it evolved from. I don't think it was the show then. Anyway, I agree with you. It's kind of a terrible name, but it's just like tip of the tongue now. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it. It's the show, baby.
The last thing I'll say is there's a weird glitch I've noticed in left field, and I've tried this out with like not just like home team stuff, like a couple of different games, where if like I'm running, there's just like weird glitches where like I can sometimes get stuck into walls and stuff, and specifically in left field, so that I haven't noticed before in other games. So it's the one other kind of down moment, but I'm having fun with it. I'm
That's
gonna
just
play through
modern
the
baseball
franchise.
now. People just be getting stuck in the walls.
Yeah,
They're
so,
just,
it sounds
they're
about
just
right.
staying real.
It was just called MLB.
Hunter Pence
before,
did
right?
it.
2006, it started being called the show.
Yeah, 2004 is just MLB. 2004.
Gotcha,
I guess.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's
thank
my
you, Barry.
report.
Thank you very much for your.
Thanks,
your
Barry.
report. Andrea,
Yes,
you went to PAX East.
I sure did.
Did you have fun?
I had a great time.
Meet and greet looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
A lot of cool
was. It
people
was
there.
awesome. A lot of crossover between the best friends and the What's Good Games crew. So it was really
You
great
gotta
to
do
talk to
better than
everybody. Wait, what?
There has to be a name.
I know.
Crossover?
Well, we kind of. Some people call it like What's Good Gamers, like
The What's Goodies. The Goodies.
the What's
goodies.
Goodies.
Ooh, the goodies.
Show me,
gotta work
show
on
me
it.
your
My
What's Goodies.
goodies.
It's not bad actually.
Little goody two shoes.
Yeah, so it was a really great time. The panel went great and had a lot of fun. Played some games.
You played Dangerous Driving. What's that?
Yeah. So Three Fields Entertainment is led by Fiona Sperry and Alex Ward, the two former leads from Criterion. They left EA and said, hey, we believe in arcade racing. We want to bring arcade racing back. EA said, we're going to go with Need for Speed, and kind of left Burnout as a franchise like in the dust. And they weren't happy with that, and so they said we're going to build it from the ground up and call it Dangerous Driving. So you've probably seen a lot of coverage in the last week since PAX saying that Dangerous Driving is essentially everything Burnout was and everything, or essentially except the name. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree.
Really?
Burnout Revenge was my favorite Burnout game. And it's in my top 10 favorite games of all time. Love the
Burnout's
Burnout
awesome.
series. I much prefer arcade racing to simulation racing, just because I find it more fun. I think simulation racing clearly has a place in video games. It's just not my cup of tea. And when I played it on the show floor at PAX East, I fell in love with what they presented. It looks like Burnout, feels like Burnout, plays like Burnout. What I love about it is that they took modes from several different Burnout games and kind of mashed them into one game. So there's like a mode that represents what was in Burnout 1 and Burnout 2 and Burnout 3 and I thought that was really cool that this is like pretty much like an homage to the Burnout franchise, and it's coming out very soon, April 9th I think, or April 11th is the release date. It's super exciting. The game looks great. What I really like is some of the new features that they're adding in. They have a feature with Spotify Premium where you can import your playlist from Spotify and race to your own custom Spotify playlist because
Dude, like the original Xbox.
Dude, I used to make my playlist. Yeah.
Well, because the music licensing is incredibly expensive, and Three Fields is a very small studio, and so they said we don't want to pass that buck on to our consumers, so we're just going to do a partnership with Spotify where you can just bring in your Spotify Premium playlist. So I thought that was a really smart thing that they're doing. They don't have online racing at launch, but they said that they're going to be patching it in. And of course, there's leaderboards. And this is basically like dangerous driving is pretty much like the Burnout code. And I just am so pumped for this to bring back arcade racing and had such a fun time playing it. So if you guys liked that style of racing games, like certainly not a game to miss. And they've done other things before. Like they had the Crash game that came out. And the name is escaping me.
I forget about it. You know, I played Dangerous Golf by them.
Was it Danger Zone? I think it was the name of it. But
yeah, they've already worked on a few things, and that is my most important question. I'd say is, you know, I know Alex Ward really well actually, because back to Burnout, it was one of my favorite games. Like that's where like I just talked to those guys all the time because I was just like such a great job at arcade racing. But it's been a long time, and they've moved on. In fact, they've I think struggled to get to where they are today with this. It's been a long time in the making to come back. So my important question I feel like is I've played Dangerous Golf, some of the other stuff. Their team's pretty small.
Very small.
Engine work. It was rough around the edges, frankly, but understandably, they're an indie team now, and right, effectively. So does it have that feel that it's a game from 2006 still, but it's like, oh, and I love this, or does it feel like evolved at all, or does it just feel like you're playing, you know, Burnout Revenge?
It does feel like that. I understand what you're saying. I don't think that they're
not that that's bad, but to set
I don't
my
think they're
expectation.
pushing the boundaries to show like what the next generation of technology can do.
It's just like the feel and the
to me, the reason why I loved it is because it felt like the Burnout that I know and love with just like a fresh coat of paint on it. That's all I want. I don't need a bunch of bells and whistles and new modes. Like Road Rage was my favorite mode because it's just like the takedown mode where the whole goal is to take down as many cars as possible. But what I thought was really cool is that now they have persistent wrecks. So when you're going through the takedown mode, when you wreck a car, the wreck stays on the track. So when you take another lap around, they act as an obstacle for you to move around, which I thought was really neat. And so just like little touches like that I think are great. But I mean, overall, like I don't want to, you know, mince words. Like this isn't something where they're pushing graphical fidelity like you're seeing in like the Forza series. This is like classic arcade racing at its finest.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge Burnout fan, and honestly, I was keeping up with this pre-announcement. Like I knew they hadn't even called it whatever it is yet, I don't think. And they sort of avoided doing the remake of Burnout because I think this was in the making. Now that I'm watching it for the first time, I'm like, holy cow, it really is. For me, this is the style, the art. This is Burnout, man.
Yeah.
It just does not have the title. And yeah, it's not necessarily Burnout 2019, but I don't know that we're ready for that anyway, but it really looks on the nose, just the style, the way that the art and the motion board and everything, it is so Burnout. So I actually can't wait to play it. To your point, based on that, like,
and I
felt like I haven't got a good taste of that in forever.
Exactly, and I think what they're trying to say here with this game is that there's still an appetite for this style of racing game because the last couple of big arcade racers that have come out, I mean, the closest we've gotten is the Forza Horizon series, and while that series has done a lot of really cool things, it's not this.
Nah, the physics,
right?
Just the style. I mean, Burnout is Burnout. Like it's, I know Need for Speed added some of the feel, but like it still was Need for Speed with the big traversal and exploration and.
And I don't need
I'm
that.
excited about this.
I don't want exploration. I don't need to have an open world racing game. That's why Paradise wasn't one of my favorite Burnout games, because I thought it was just too much. It was too big. I was like, no, I want a set amount of tracks. I want to be able to play those tracks over and over again and increase my speed or increase my takedown score or race against my friends. Like, I don't need all these, like I said, all the bells and whistles. I just want some solid arcade racing mechanics, and from what I played at PAX, like, it got me super excited.
Do you know if it has a good ghost system? Like, can you at least race against your friends?
You can.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you already said that, but
so the ghost system does absolutely exist. You can play and like you can see your car like from
like
your
I can
times.
play against your time.
I don't know
Can I
how
do
the
that?
leaderboard system works with your friends.
Ghost. That's what I mean.
But
that
I'm
would solve the
sure
online
that
thing for me. That if Greg's like, dude, last night
I could look it up.
Gotcha. That has always been in that game, like playing. I forget if I'm playing my own Ghost or someone like another one, but we did it in Forza and whatnot. That would solve the whole need for online in the interim period here. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so I'll have to check that out. But it is also worth me mentioning that they're gonna have a tiered car system, 6 tiers of cars with different variants: base, tuned, advanced, and prototype that are specifically tuned for different modes in the game. So like you'll get like a coupe that's tiered for racing because it's faster, it has more acceleration, or you'll get a different type of car that's tiered for road rage, so like it can withstand a lot more damage than some of the other cars can.
I can't wait to try this out. Did you find the release date yet or no? Don't worry about it. Soon though, it sounds like.
It's very soon.
Dangerous driving. What I would say, without even playing it and watching the video and hearing from Andrea, support this game and think about it. I loved that team. I loved Burnout, and it's been a long time. I'm super interested in it now that
April 9th, digitally for PC on the Epic Games Store for $26.99, and then for PlayStation 4, Computer Entertainment System, and Xbox One for $29.99. Physical version will be published by Maxim Games. Includes a bonus game, Danger Zone 2, and will be available for $39.99 on Xbox One and PS4 only.
I'm hyped.
Cool.
I have more information from my phone as well. I reached out to someone who will remain nameless about MLB The Show, right? In baseball vernacular, when you get the call to come up from the farm system to play in the bigs, it's referred to as being called up to the show.
Wait, when you get the what called up?
The call. When you get called up from the minor leagues to come play.
Oh,
MLB,
when you get that
got
call
the
to
call
play
in the show.
Got it.
And then also to clarify once more this Iron Man thing. Triggers, thrust, and the move button shoot. I think I had it reversed when I said it, and I want to make sure I'm very clear about this. Because Iron Man is awesome. 360. Also, it was confirmed that you can do the 3 you can click with the buttons if you want to turn. But 360 does work. But if for some reason it doesn't work in your apartment because the light,
you can adjust it.
Okay. Alt frequencies.
Yes.
Andrea, what is this?
So this game, I actually have to pull up the press release for this too because it's such a confusing game to describe. So this was in the Indie Mega booth. Well, technically not in the booth. It was right next to the Indie Mega booth. Let me just pull this up.
Alt frequencies.
Yeah, so this is from Accidental Queens, the same people that made another Lost Phone and a normal Lost Phone, which I really love. So they specialize in like narrative mysteries in a very like untraditional format. And I really loved what they were doing with that. And so when their PR person reached out to me and was like, hey, would you be interested in checking out their new thing? And I was like, absolutely. Let me see if I can find out exactly how to describe this.
Andrew's obviously played so many games, and frankly, you're really good at talking about games. That's why you're here today. But you really are excellent, eloquent. The fact that you struggle a little bit, you got to look it up, means that there's something unique about it. I think, right?
So here it is. Alt frequencies tasks players with unraveling a mystery taking place between multiple radio stations among a disparate group of people, intersecting where interactive investigation meets podcasting.
Okay,
it's a game for us.
Dude, a normal Lost Phone was awesome, and another Lost Phone was not as good, I thought, but great. I can't wait for this.
What I thought this is cool as well is, so I'm just going to read from the press release here. Alt Frequency supports visually impaired players and blind gamers by utilizing a solid game design that allows players of various disabilities to be included in the game.
Wow.
In Alt Frequencies, players will solve a series of puzzles to progress in their investigation. A radio audio format is used as the game's key mechanic, delivering an innovative and original method of non-linear storytelling, which has become the signature calling card of Accidental Queens. Players get an intimate look into the lives of radio hosts, conspiracy theorists, students, politicians, underground activists, train station managers, and even a dog as they manipulate and redistribute information between them and impact their lives in various ways. And so with the kind of hook about this is like the mechanic is you kind of scroll through these radio stations and you can record little bits from each of them, and then you can scroll to another station and then broadcast the bit that you recorded, and then the radio station host will react to the bit that you've recorded.
Is this mobile again, or is this a PC?
So it's on Steam and it's available to add to your wish list now, and it's going to be iOS and Android as well.
Gotcha.
And the real hook though is that there's a 3-minute time loop, and that the characters in the game recognize the time loop. So every 3 minutes, like the time loop ends and then it restarts again. And so you know when you've moved on to the next narrative piece or you've solved the first layer of the puzzle when like the time loop like shifts forward.
awesome. That sounds
Because there
rad.
are certain people that are immune to the time loop, and you have to figure out like why certain people
This
are.
sounds insane.
Yeah, it's super insane. But like I love these kind of weird small titles because I think they're doing really interesting and innovative work in game design. So I thought it was really cool.
I love that they're supporting gamers with disabilities. This comes up a lot. That I have a discussion with people that watch and I play with, and just like it's hard to design a game in the first place, let alone to think about these elements. So that's really cool that they were able to think about that. Part
What
of
are
the
they
format.
targeting for coming out?
Oh yeah, so they announced the release date. I'm pretty sure they announced. I got like several. Here we go. The newest release. Maybe I don't have it. It's soon though.
Okay.
It's very soon.
Frequency. I'm gonna try to just look it up.
Debuts teaser and confirms release date. Yes, is due out next month.
Cool.
So sometime in May.
Awesome.
Got it.
And then the final thing, Andrea, Shadow of the Tomb Raider DLC.
Yeah, so this was really fun. Like, and obviously Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out last fall and it was surrounded by some behemoth games. So it kind of went under the radar for some people. And I really enjoyed it. And I obviously want to disclaim that I did a lot of work with Square Enix for Tomb Raider last year, hosted various panels for them, of course. But when they reached out and
It's
were
all
like,
lies from here.
yeah, all lies. When
You
they
know how those
reached-
contracts work? From
Yeah, it's just
19 months ago, they're like, if you ever talk about it again, you gotta say.
Well, normally when somebody's like, I'm showing DLC at a show like PAX, I say, hey,
Who's got time?
I don't have time, but they just happened to have it at an hour where I was like, oh, I can actually like make it at that time. And so I swung in there, and I hadn't really spent much time with the co-op DLC. Have you guys played any of the co-op
No, I never
tombs,
did.
the challenge tombs? So it was pretty fun. And Britt and Steimer came with me, so all three of us were playing. And so I got to play the Grand Cayman DLC, and we got like a little sneak peek of the one that's coming. So that's available now as part of the season pass. And then the second one is called...
Is it Grand Cayman, like set in Grand Cayman?
Yeah, exactly. Well, because a lot of this
Cayman
is set in
Yes.
like
Jamaica.
Central America.
Caribbean Cruise Lines.
I've been to Grand Cayman. That is an island.
Kissimmee
Yeah.
St. Cloud.
Yeah.
So the second DLC is out on the 23rd of April.
Okay.
And the name of it, I can't find. It's like the seventh piece of DLC in the season pass. But essentially, these are challenge tombs, and you get to play as Lara, and you get to put on cool costumes, and you get to play co-op. And so essentially, you're running through the tomb. They have like a score attack mode. They have a time attack mode. There's also an exploration mode where you can just kind of like hang out, which I thought was really neat. And
Is every player one, or everybody playing as Lara, or
yes, and so the other person will appear as another character in your game.
Gotcha.
And because we were playing side by side, I could see
Yeah.
who they were appearing as. And what?
bullshit.
But what's nice about that is that means you get to customize your Lara the way you want and wear the costume that you want.
Sure.
And so does the other person. So and then they tailor who that other second player is depending on which tomb you're in.
Cool.
And these tombs are intensely difficult.
Yeah.
And some of the things require you to work together in order to like open doors, or there's a lot of fire features in these tombs. And so there are some ways where you have to like use your bow and arrow to like shoot a target, and it will like stop the fire for a set amount of time. So one person has to like hold the fire while the other person runs. And
that's cool.
So there's like a lot of co-op work in them. It was really fun. It was cool. So if you're looking for a reason to go back, or if you have the season pass and you're like, oh crap, I forgot I bought the season pass for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's a new DLC
content.
that just came out, and then another one is coming at the end of the month.
Very cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Gamescast. Stay tuned for the post show exclusive for patreon.com/kindoffunnygames users. Till next time.